welcome to another stream. Today we are playing Tranquil Island, which is a solo playthrough. I'm just currently editing the live, so all the information's on there. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday. And we will be playing the game momentarily. Just make sure that's saved. Yep. At some point I will learn how to do premiere. That's the word I was looking for. But at the moment I'm not entirely sure how it's done. So we'll jump over to the gameplay and we'll jump right in. Hopefully the sound and everything's a-okay. We have been doing a bit of troubleshooting over the last few streams. And we're here. We've got post, it's always for licenses, so I don't even read it nowadays. And what have we got on us? We need to put that in the museum, I think. We seem to have extra tools on us, and not all my tools. That's for paint, that's for tools. We'll put that away because we don't want it to break. Put our tools out. Out of that, the spade goes there and that. Yeah. Right, we'll put the teas away and then we'll get the chores for everybody. Starting with Theodore today. May as well do a bit of collecting. Right, Theodore. I think we have a donation. Oh, what a surprise. I'll let you down again. You've already got it. I want chat. Need anything? No, I am not catching a grass yellow butterfly. I'll catch it for the collection, but I'm not doing it for chores. Hell no. And then we need to check whether our bananas have actually grown in. They have indeed, so we can harvest them, or have they all? No, yeah. Some are on one side, some are on the other, that's what's confusing me. So, Fletch, what would you like today? No, I didn't want to talk about the house. I misclicked. I haven't got 95k for you. I'm sorry. I'd like 95k, but I don't have it. Furniture. Oh, don't bounce off there. You can have that one Nordic bedside table. There you go. A wooden bedside table, thanks. That's more my style, but still. That was almost a swap for a swap. We've got nobody visiting. We also need to sell. Oh, John's in his shop, so we'll go into his shop in a minute. May as well take the fossil in with us first. Drop it on there. Nice, 51k is not too bad. Got an achievement for it. Nice. And then, what do you have for us today? Cooked flake. Luckily enough, I managed to kill a beached shark the other day, so I can actually do that for you. At the moment, I know I can break down the rubies for the shards, but we actually need the money, so unfortunately, even if they're a rubbish price, they are getting sold. Well, that one wasn't too bad a price. So let's go cook him some flake. I do believe that we actually have license 3 now. for logging so we can actually get the dark wood for the bandstand. We do need some furnaces and a better cooker. So we might even get them before cooking this flake, or else it's going to take ages. So let's go get a furnace and a cooker. Unfortunately, it means spending the money rather than paying off the debt, but that's what we'll have to do. So a furnace for 30k, yep, I guess so, and a cooker for 34k. So all the money I've just earned has practically been spent. Oh no, it hasn't. I've still got 160. Oh, it's a dog's tail. I wondered what that was then. Right, so put these away for now and get these two out. And let's put these down. Put the furnace that side. And then the cooker. And go in the water with the other one, I guess. And then we'll insert some more of them. Put away the tea, because I don't want to accidentally use it. And we'll get them back out. And then we'll put that away and get the flake out. Insert that. Keep an eye on it, make sure the birds don't run off with it. And we've got plenty of iron to make some iron up. We'll probably concentrate a little bit on fishing today. Get our fishing up. That mud crab. Right, go hand this in to John. So that all the chores are done. Then we need to concentrate on the dailies and then we'll do some fishing. No, I didn't want salt. Sorry. Wrong button. Yeah, I changed my mind. Here you go. Cooked flake. There you go. You're very welcome. Oh, marble bench. Nice one, John. Nice one. Oh, and we'll also get a mining pass. Just so that we've also got it for when we need it. Tool wise, we need... I think we have a spear. Let me go and check. Oh yeah, we need to collect our fruit as well. Yeah, we do. We'll just take that one with us for now. We've got a few fruit salads on us, so we may as well collect the rest of the fruit. Right, didn't collect that one. And then it's going to be hard to see whether we collect the guandongs or not. Oh, there's a bit of dirt there, so we're going to have to move that dirt. So we can actually see whether we're harvesting everything. I wonder whether that'll help. Can we see any blue? I don't think there is. I think we've got them. And I do believe we've got all the... Oh, I don't like doing that. Now we can go back to the normal build for the bananas. There we go. Now we just got to collect it. And it should all be on the sides. That's why we planted them so close together. So that we didn't have to try and get them from in between the trees. And I do believe it has pretty much worked out that way. Bush lime there. And I think all them trees are empty. So how many fruits and things? We did have 9 on us, so 60, 60, 80 and 50. So we definitely need some more banana trees. So let's get some of them planted. What we might have to do is take from here Let's see whether there's a wheelbarrow, because that'll make this easier. Have you got a wheelbarrow, John? Is this a wheelbarrow? It is a wheelbarrow. Thank you, John. 30. You're robbing me of all my money, John. I don't like that. How dare you? I worked hard for this money, and you're practically taking it all away from me already. Oh, maybe I didn't. I've already done it. Well, that's at least a thing. I didn't realise I'd done it already. Right, so we'll just drop bananas here, ready to plant them. Find it's easier to just go along and drop them where I need them, and then bury them. So I'm not having to switch back and forth, which hopefully will prevent me from dropping my spade all the time. Shovel. And then we just need to pinch a piece of mud from here, and we'll plant that one there, and we'll drop that there. Right, now let's plant them. Like that. Nice. I don't know. Oh, I picked it all up. I don't know where all of it landed, but it must have all landed in one spot. And again. So yeah, with the barrels, if you don't want to break it, basically to save your weapon, if you get a seed and put it where the barrel is and then plant the seed, it'll basically break the barrel and give you the loot, saving you your tools in the process. And then we need to put the mine pass away, get these out because the tea's already done again. Nice and quick is the tea. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do. Basically, we're stocking up tea at the moment because we don't actually have the keg DIY yet. We're working on it. But if you have plenty of them stocked up, it means that when you do get the kegs, you can just make it into the bottled version that gives you the full boost. Right, so I've got 12 of them on me now, and the rest of it can be put away. Just because I don't really need to use it all. Oh, wait there. So yeah, we're running low on the bananas, but that's obviously because I've just used some bananas, and also you get slightly less of the bananas. So we'll put the mine pass in here, and we'll put the wheelbarrow in there for now. We can put the treasure away, and if we bring out the fishing rod, we'll do a bit of fishing today, I think. Let me have a look on the map. Let's go see whether that pearl's available. And nope, it's not yet, which is perfectly fine. Let's see whether we can catch any fish here. Nice blue fish. And we just got an achievement. 5 fishes caught. It's not too bad. We'll go over here. There seems to be quite a few fish. There we go. Oh, I messed that up. There we go. think that is a critter. Yeah, it was. Nice. That's something new for the museum. We've already got that fish. And we've got that one. That's a critter. We'll get to that. We'll get this jelly because it's right next to the seafront. And that one's coming in. Nice. Can't get that one yet. I've already got that fish. Get that jelly. See whether we can get this one. Oh, I fell in. There you go. I'm not seeing many new fishes. That's bluefish. That's a new one. Where's it at? There. Nice. And that's a critter. Maybe I'll stop being fussy about what fishes I catch and just catch them all. Worst case, we can cook them up and sell them. Oh, moved it too fast. That's a critter. Energy's getting low, so we may as well eat something. No, it's not interested. That's a critter. Let's see whether we can get some of these fishes. See whether we can get this one here. critters. Hey doggo. Well, actually Diggo. I found out why everything was going wrong. Diggo is basically the wild dogs, and doggo is basically when you've got a collar on it. So even though I've played this game as long as I have, I'm still learning new things. Let's see whether we can get that one. Nice. There we go. Rupoo on the floor. Oh, pockets are full. Right, so let's go to the museum. See whether we can hand any of these in. Oh, we can hand in quite a few of these. There we go. Thank you. Right, so what we're going to have to do now, put all the tools in a bag. Get some of these wattles out. Oh, wrong box. Get these cooking. Even cooking fish. Right, so we can put away this, and this, and this, and this. I'm going to sell that. I'm keeping that, selling this, selling that. We've got box for this one. Oh, we can't sell it. It's already shut. Right. We can now do some iron up. Yeah, we'll do that now. Insert. We can do some tin up. And we can also do shiny stones up. So we'll put that in there. And that in there. Let's go see whether, oh, we can put that in there. Let's go see whether we can make the iron hatchet now, which I do believe we should be able to. Yep. And we'll go and find some wood trees tomorrow, now that we've already got that made up. And we'll have a visitor tomorrow as well. Oh, that's it. And we've got 6 opals. It's not bad. What we got going on in here? Bit of a collection, not too much going on though. Last one. We've got a stone grinder achievement. Insert that there. No, not bad. The wattles are done. Let's actually see how many. We could do some of these. Get some more of the health ones going. Keep the rest of them on us so that we can make the rest of them up once they're done. Get some iron ore in. I mean, we could always do some more fishing whilst we're waiting for these bars to go. They're not interested. Oh, that was not the way I thought it was gonna go. There we go. Oh. In fact, we'll just concentrate on the making of bars because I'm doing an awful job at trying to fish and do the bars at the same time. There we go, the red ones are done, the bottle teas. Put them up, put them away. There we go. We'll collect this and then put another iron bar on. Don't want the fish, the birds robbing me fish. That's the iron all done up. Nice. Right, tin goes in there. And we may as well sleep. Although, there's a load of rupee down this area, wasn't there actually? Let's go collect that. Collect these wattles. sugar. I forgot it was late at night. Can only collect, don't use our energy. Oh, this is what we needed. There we go. Right, don't do any more, else we'll pass out. And when you pass out, you lose money and you lose tool durability. Right, we'll walk our way back slowly. As we can eat, I'll obviously eat. Although we are gaining energy back. Have we caught this moth? Nice timber. Oh, we're meant to do rocks as well. How many rocks? 6. There we go. Right, let's make our way back because we've done our dailies that I totally forgot about. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll get the shovel out and we will get the seeds out and we'll plant some darker hardwood trees here. One there, 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 and one there. Let's find them seeds and bury them. And they'll grow up to be some hardwood trees for us to cut down in the future near the base. We can make some wattle teas. May as well put some more tin and copper on. Well, we'll just do tin for now. Put the bars away. Shiny stone and stone away. Feathers going here. Fruit going there. I don't think we've got any treasure. We've got that, but we need to cut some of this up. Let's quickly do that. And then I do believe we should be able to build the bandstand, which is the building in the middle that we haven't managed to build yet. Right, let's remind ourselves of what that was. We needed planks, tin, cement and nails. Put that in there and we'll put that one in there. Right. So nails we might need more of. Or we need the cement out of here. Two tin sheet. I think it was. Then we needed all the planks. Yeah, we need more nails. Let's get more nails. There we go. Now we can deposit everything in here and it should be built tomorrow. Or started at least tomorrow. And then there's the tin. Yep, sweet. So we can put copper in there. Deposit that. Deposit that. Deposit that. Running the wrong way. Oh sugar, I should have left one of the seeds just so that I could have put it in the box. I didn't think about that. Right, everything else is sellable, I guess. More copper on. Right, we will sleep the day away. We'll put that away for now. And we will get on with the day. Have a sip of our drink, because we've got a minute. What level are we going to get to? Level 7, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we're trying to get to, I think it's level 10, so that we can get the crab pots. Oh, Franklin. Yeah. Like a good old visit from Franklin. Right, wattle teas on. Deposit them. Iron in that one, copper in that one. And slowly try and do them up during the day when we're back and forth. Right, let's go talk to Franklin, get his daily. Free meat over here, nice. Rupu as well, why not? Franklin, what's your job? A fly, we can do that. A fly it is. So let's get the bug net out. There's a fly, I can see it. There. Right, get that to Franklin. And then his job's done for the day. Do part of my daily then just by chatting to him. I've chatted to 3 people by the looks of things. Thinks not bad. Right, now Fletch and John and Franklin. Get some more copper and tin going. Right, Franklin, what would you like? Chat. Got a job. Blue moon butterfly, we can do that, that's easy. And then, how much money? Right, how many CDs have we got? That's the question I should be asking. Oh nice, 11, so we'll sell 10 of them. They're not done yet. Collect these up. Talk to him, so we'll have a chat first, because that's part of the daily. Right, sound. Discs. We have discs for you. 88 grand, that's okay, that's nice. Oh, and he's learnt something nice. So if we talk to him now, jackhammer. Let's try and get him to make that for us, which means we need another stone grinder from John. We'll go visit John. We'll have a chat first. Thank you for the follow, Sarah Lou. And hello. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good, thank you. We're just playing Tranquil Island at the moment, which is a solo playthrough. We've got 3 series on the channel. But hope you're doing well. And then we need to talk to him and get his daily. We can sell some things. We can definitely sell some things. I don't know whether we've got the math. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Are you a fellow Dinkumer? AKA, do you play Dinkum? And then we need your job. Blue moon butterfly, even better. He wants the same as Franklin. Right. Now I see blue moon butterfly. Oh, we were meant to buy a stone grinder when we were in there. Let's go back. Stone grinder, there we go. Oh. Is there a reason you don't already own it? Or are you just somebody who likes watching streams of it? If you don't mind me asking, that is. No, clicked the wrong thing. I was meant to give you your butterfly. And I clicked the wrong thing again. Right, just let it load up first. There we go. Because I do know a lot of people are waiting for it to come out on the Switch. I don't have a PC. Ah, shucks. Yeah, it's a shame that because it's in early access. Oh, nice gunwood bench. That it's only on PC. But I do think, well, I know in an interview that the dev did say that he was going to try and port it to other consoles. But the issue at the moment is it's in early access. So I believe that's what's preventing it being allowed on some consoles. I assume you're enjoying watching it though. How many do we need? 5. It is a good game. It's a shame you don't have a PC though. Right, I think we've got everything out of there. Yeah, it's definitely worth the wait. There's, I think, 3 more main updates to come. And then, hopefully, after that, it'll be able to be ported to the Switch. But unfortunately, I know the latest update, like the latest big update's meant to be the winter update, so it'll be a little bit off yet, but definitely worth it. I haven't got the mining license. I knew before you even said it, Franklin, that mining license. Let's go get it. Oh, I love watching people play it, even though I do play it myself. I'm in quite a lot of people's streams watching them. I find it fascinating how people can make a building. It's a bit like Minecraft out of blocks, and how they can come up with like hotels and churches and what's the latest one that everyone's doing? Lighthouses. I find it very fascinating. I like Animal Crossing. I really do. I just struggle quite a bit with the creativity side of things in like making your village, your town, whatever you want to call it, like look like a town. And for instance, like the like stalls and then boards, how people can make the village and buildings out of them. I just recently started building in Dinkum. It's really hard. Like, I don't know how some people can just like put loads of bulletin boards up. I didn't think I had anything for you. Sorry, Theodore. I don't know how they can just like put those boards up and put patterns on it, and then like it looks like they've got a full building there made. Did we talk to Fletch? No, we've not talked to Fletch yet. We need to get her daily. I got too excited because Franklin was here, and it means he can make me a jackhammer. I always get really distracted on chores. What other games other than Animal Crossing do you like? Yeah, I totally agree. I just sort of got out of my comfort zone with this game, and I've got an island where I can mess around with the dev commands, and I did a sandcastle build, and I did a bandstand memorial place. So like the bandstand's on like a little bit of a hill with loads of flowers decorating it, and then a memorial site for my two puppies. Well, not puppies, they were dogs that unfortunately passed away. I'm due to do a museum build on it, but I'm just trying to get my head around like how I want to do it initially before trying to build it. But that'll be coming to the channel very soon. Probably, I'd say either Thursday or Friday, most likely. And we just started this island. This is Tranquil Island, and it's going to be a solo playthrough. And we've got another one where me and my partner play. Oh, very nice. That's a nice selection. So if you're a Zelda fan, I take it you've just been playing the new Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom. My partner's been on that recently. That's why I've lost him at the moment. He's doing Zelda, and he's playing a lot of Daisy with some of his friends. So, because he's not playing Dinkum at the moment, I was like, right, well, there's no better time, I guess, to start my solo playthrough. No, not yet, as I am trying to finish the first one. The Breath of the Wild. Is that the one that you're on about? I never really used to play Zelda. I don't mind it. I just found it very hard because it was like, do this, and then go on to this next section, and then do that, and then you open up the map to do this bit. And I always found it was very hard for me to get into. I didn't know anything about Zelda until about, I've been with my partner 14 years now, so when I first got with him, he sort of introduced me to it, and he was like, well, why don't you play it? It's like a puzzle game. It's exactly what I like normally in a game, but I just couldn't get into it. And then Breath of the Wild came out, and I probably played that more than he did. I like the seeds, going around and finding them. I spent like a good 3 days probably trying to find all of them on his island for him. And I didn't mind Breath of the Wild at all. I've not yet really had much of a chance to get on the Tears of the Kingdom one, but I'm wanting to play it with my partner once he's actually streamed it a little bit. But at the moment he's a bit disconfident in streaming because he's having a psoriasis flare up, so I'm going to wait for him to play it and then get on it. But I think what they've done with this new Tears of the Kingdom is like mind-blowing. Like the fact you can create your own weapons and things like that, and the whole mechanism of like making the vehicles and things. That fascinates me. That fascinates me a lot. I'm a crafter at heart. So if a game can insert a bit of crafting in there, it's all aboard. I managed to get 2 fish on that. I'm not meant to be able to do that. When I saw it on the adverts, I was like, exactly how's that going to work? And it was a bit like, have they put a little bit too much mechanics in the game? But I've seen like a few sneak peeks of my partner playing it, and it seems like it's quite good. It seems more stable. That's one thing I've noticed. It seems more stable than Breath of the Wild. Like it seems to have less visual glitches, which is definitely a positive. Right, come on, fish. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've got fish to sell as well. Cooked up already. I think most of these will get cooked up as well. Did I honestly do that? There we go. Oh. There we go. Right, now we've got to cook it up. Because I'm pretty sure none of them are new. And we can also sell that moth. Better put them peas away because I don't need them. And we can put the meat away and the fruit. Pardon me, sorry. There we go. One more, and then we should be able to sell everything. And we've done all the chores, we've done our dailies, so now it's doing whatever we feel like. So let's go sell, and it might be a case of what do we want to do? Sell that, and then we don't sell anything else. I mean, we could pay off the debt, but I'm pretty sure the debt's more than what we've got. Let's have a look. I'm on a gaming break because of a recent... Oh no, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? And I hope you're okay. That's not good. I hope it wasn't too bad. That's no good at all. We will do... Let's do some mining, I guess. I fainted as my boyfriend cut his hand while making food. Oh no. Well, I hope the boyfriend's hand's okay and it wasn't too serious of a cut. And I'm assuming, obviously, if you fainted, you've been to the doctors or hospital to make sure there wasn't any permanent swelling or anything like that. That's no good at all. And I hope the boyfriend didn't need stitches or anything either. Not nice. How long ago did that happen? Is it a recent thing, or you just on rest at the moment just to make sure everything's okay? He's okay, but I wasn't, as I had to spend 48 hours in hospital, but I'm home and on bed rest now. Oh, jeez. So it wasn't just like a cut, it was quite a deep cut by the sounds of things. 12 stitches, and a few days ago. Well, I do hope that you're getting looked after. The best he can obviously do with 12 stitches in his hand. That's not good at all. In 48 hours because of a bang to the head. They must have wanted to make sure that you were okay, like. They don't really do much like that. I assume you're from the UK. You might not be. That might be a wrong assumption. But where I'm from, they'd do a scan and then they'd be like, right, go home. Yeah, UK. Well, I'm glad that they took proper care of you, though. That's definitely a good thing. Especially if, well, they obviously felt like you needed it, clearly. They don't, like I said, down here, where I live, well, up north, sorry, you wouldn't get that. If you'd had a bang to the head, they're normally like, right, we'll do an x-ray. They check the x-ray and they're like, right, go home. Just take it easy. But I'm glad they looked after you both. I can understand that. I hate hospitals. Like, really cannot stand them. I had my appendix out probably now about 10 years ago. And they were like, we need to keep you in for 48 hours after the operation. And I was out of there within 12. I just can't stand them. I don't like hospitals because, as bad as it is, most of my family, they've always been quite severely ill when they've had to go in, and most of them don't really generally come out, mainly due to cancer, I'll be honest, not just like an ordinary operation. So I have a bit of a phobia against them, I guess would be the best word to say. And yeah, just really don't like it. So they did my operation for my appendix. It wasn't really great. Unfortunately, I didn't realise what was going on with my body, basically. And I left it till I was throwing up green. And my partner was like, no, you're not doing this anymore. You're in pain. You're throwing up green. The minute your body's throwing up green, I'm not having the chance of you dying at home. And I was in agony. I literally couldn't move off the bed. I was curled up in a ball and I was crying my eyes out, which I don't really normally cry too much from pain and such. So we knew something was seriously up. So he basically rang 111 out of hours chalk. They came and he felt my stomach and he was like, yeah, you need to go to hospital. So I went. They were meant to do the operation the night I turned up, but they couldn't. So they had me on quite high dose of morphine, and the minute they could get me in to the operation table, they did. But it was already pretty much too late, because when they went to basically take my appendix out, it just burst. So it actually like burst inside me, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant. When they eventually brought me around on the table, I was overheating that badly that they had 8 fans on me, 5 on my head, and 3 just dotted around the rest of my body to bring my temperature down. And it wasn't pleasant, I'll say that. And then they took me down on the ward and they explained, right, because of your operation and how it went, and the fact that you still feel throwing up and you don't look great. I was white as a ghost. They were like, yeah, 48 hours. And I was like, you what? They're like, you stay in 48 hours. And if we feel like you need longer, obviously it'll be a longer stay. And I messaged my partner. I was like, 48 hours they're saying. And he was like, are you kidding? I was like, no, 48 hours. He was like, you're not going to stay in there for 48 hours, are you? And I was like, no. The minute I can get up and walking around, I'm going out of this hospital. And 12 hours later, even though I was still in a hell of a lot of pain and on morphine, I was like, I'm coming home. He was like, what do you mean you're coming home? I was like, I'm outside the hospital. I've signed myself out. Come and get me. And he was like, what do you mean come and get you? You've got 48 hours. I was like, I'm not doing 48 hours. I'm at the bus stop right now. He was like, right, because you're not listening to me and you're going to not listen to the hospital. I guess I'm going to have to come and get you. So he came and got me. And it was the worst journey home. Every bump and like nudge of the bus or anything like that, sharp corner turns, I was in agony. Finally, we got off the bus and we lived about 5 minutes away from the bus station. So I knew I didn't have that much further to go until I was home. It took me half an hour to walk home from the bus station. And this is normally a 5-minute walk, if that. So yeah, I was in a right state. They gave me medication and things, but they gave me tramadol. And tramadol just did not agree with me at all. I was throwing up left, right and centre all the time. Oh, I've not got a weapon out. This is going to go horrible. Honestly, I just cannot stand the hospitals. It's... Where we are, the hospitals are really bad as well. So when I was there was old women in the ward with me. And they'd ring the buzzer and nobody would come. And I'd be there and like, these women are like hooked up, and I mean hooked up to like liquids. They can't move out the bed, no nothing. And I'm there like, obviously I'm in pain, but you know, I can't see people not get help when they need help. And you know, they're crying out in pain. And I was just like, right, what do you need? And they'd tell me, and then I'd go to the main office and I'd be like, right, such and such in bed 3 needs such and such. And they'd be like, yeah, but you're meant to be in bed. Why are you out of bed? And I was like, well, yous aren't coming and dealing with her. She's been ringing the buzzer for half an hour. Like, she needs help. Go do your job. And they would basically have a go at me. They were like, get back in your bed now. You're meant to not be moving, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, if you don't do it, I'm going to keep coming out of my bed. And then they'd go try and sort out whoever. And then bed 5 would need something. So I'd be back at the main office. And I just couldn't settle. I literally just could not settle. And like I said, I was on the ward with just old people. And I just couldn't put up with listening to the buzzers all the time. I was like, I'll get more rest at home. So I'm going home. And the hospital wasn't pleased with me. I went back, I think 2 weeks later, just to make sure everything was okay. They checked my scar and everything was fine. So, you know, even though they say 48 hours in there, I was perfectly fine at home. I did take it easy at home. Like, I think it was like maybe a week later. It was, we went for a walk and we went to the shop, and that was a little bit further than the bus station. It's about a 10-minute walk normally, and that took me an hour to get there and back from the shop. I was literally walking like an old lady. I was a bit holding my tummy, and I was like bent over because I couldn't stand up straight still. And yeah, I was just like, I'd rather be at home in this sort of pain, do you know what I mean, in my own bed, and just know that if I needed anything, I could call on my partner and just say, look, can you get me this drink? Can you get me my meds? And I was in a much safer environment mentally than I would have been in the hospital. So even though I shouldn't have been at home, I was just like, no, I'm going to have to. I can't mentally cope. And all I really did was sleep. Yeah. Well, the best part about it is you can also, like, say, for instance, obviously you've got a partner. So, you know, if you need something, you can ask them, like, oh, can you get me a drink of milk or a glass of water, or can you make sure my meds, you know, I'm having my meds on time. Do you know what I mean? And you just feel a hell of a lot better. You know, you've not got the beeping of the machines. You've not got, you know, people ringing the buzzers all the time. You've also not got the nurses waking you up flaming every 4 hours to take your obs and make sure you're fine. Like, obviously, I know that it's needed, but some of it is just over the top. It's like, if I'm meant to be sleeping and resting, you should not be waking me up every 4 hours to check whether I'm still alive. Obviously, I'm still alive, or else the machine would be beeping and telling you otherwise. Like, just let me sleep and rest and recover. I always find hospitals are a weird one. They're like, make sure you get your rest, make sure you get your sleep, and then next minute they're coming in going, right, we need to take your temperature, we need to make sure your oxygen levels are fine. It's like, is the machine beeping at you? No, leave me alone then. Oh, that's how I feel. It's maybe not the best, but I'm like that. I cannot, if I'm asleep, just leave me to be asleep, because otherwise, yeah, you've just woke up a monster. And it's not very pleasant. I try obviously not be rude, because I know and understand that it's their job, and you know, if something did happen to you, then obviously they're liable. But at the same time, it's like, just let me sleep. And then, as bad as it is, I also smoke. So when they're like, you're not allowed off the ward at such and such a time for a fag, it's like, well, if I can't sleep and I need a fag and you're waking me up every 4 hours, then let me out for a fag, or else otherwise I'm going to go a little bit insane, because as bad as it is, you've woke me up. My boyfriend was sat next to me and he told the nurses, just do what you need to do. Yeah, exactly. But then they're like, oh, we can't do that because we need to make sure she's able to speak and she can tell us how she's feeling, or whether she's in any pain, or whether she needs anything like water. And it's like, if I needed water, I wouldn't be asleep. I'd be drinking water, love. Like, just, come on. And it's like the temperature thing. All you've got to do is put it on my finger. Put it on my finger while I'm asleep. I won't know. You'll get the readings. We'll all be okay. I used to find it funny though. When I was there, I got to know the cleaner And she was like, to be honest, you're one of the funniest to wake up. My boyfriend is very straightforward with them, and they took it. Oh, well, that's alright. When my partner tried to tell them, look, you just leave her alone, just take a temperature, don't wake her up, they just wouldn't listen. They were like, no, she needs to be awake. We need to be able to speak to her. We need to ask her a few questions, and she needs to basically tell us and respond to us, because if she doesn't give us the right response, then there's an extra 12 hours on a stay. And when they were saying things like that, I was just like, no, I'll stay here for 12 hours, make sure I stop throwing up the green stuff. But as soon as that stops and I feel like I can at least partially stand up without falling over, then I'm out of here. Like, I ain't doing it. I'm probably the worst patient going. I'm not rude with it though, I'll be honest. Like, I'm just like, can you please just not wake me up? Just do what you've got to do and let me be. Because the sooner I'm out of your hair, the less people you've got to look after, the less observations you've got to do, and you don't have to keep waking me up and just annoying me. So just let me go home. And they're always like, you shouldn't be going home now, but if you want to go home, I guess there's no stopping you. And it's like, no. But I'm a bit of an awkward patient because they can't give me penicillin. I'm allergic to penicillin, so they have to give me like everything but penicillin, and it can cause complications, which isn't great. It also means I can't get the proper pain medication sometimes because of it, but I've sort of learnt and grown up with that. It was... Oh, you're allergic to penicillin too? Ah. It's weird how you meet so many people that are allergic to penicillin. Are you allergic to bee stings as well? Like, when I was little, I got stung by a bee, and for some reason it stung me on the eye, and yeah, my eye went as big as an apple. But they haven't actually, for some reason, ever gave me the epidural pen, or whatever it's called. So I've just got to be careful. Oh, you're lucky then. Most people, what they say is if you're allergic to penicillin, there's probably a big chance that you're allergic to bee stings as well. It's something apparently that goes hand in hand for some reason. I don't fully understand it, but yeah, if you ever see them medical bracelets and it says they're allergic to penicillin, normally underneath it it'll say allergic to bee stings too, which I find quite fascinating. Right, Theodore wants food, so what does Theodore like? Let's consult the notes. Hooked cactus figs. The only bug I don't like is spiders, and unfortunately that's because there's a trauma thing there involved, unfortunately. But I'm not really too freaked out really by bugs, I'll be honest. Although at the moment I do have an ant problem, which is slightly irritating. Yeah, I don't mind them, as in like they're fair enough living outside, but because I've just had my gutters cleaned, the people that cleaned them didn't clean up after themselves. So I think what's happened is they've basically knocked out, a garden like nice. I think they've knocked out a ant nest out of my gutter and into my backyard, and for some reason they are basically managing to crawl in through cracks in the wall, and it's really annoying me. And I've got a little bit of a gap underneath my kitchen door, so I'm going to try and get the landlord to put some PVC doors on and then seal up like the bottom of the house. And I've obviously bought some stuff for like outside, some spray and some powder. So I'm slowly sort of getting on top of it, but I couldn't sleep very much last night because they were in my living room, and unfortunately at the moment I'm sleeping on the sofa due to health conditions. I can't get comfy in a bed, so I was a little worried about going to sleep. Why are you all asking me for blue spotted fish? It's not happening. I don't like fishing. Oh, it's alright. It's just something that you get used to. It'll get sorted. It seems the spray seems to have at least done something. I went out there before and I moved one of the plants that basically all of a sudden sprouting out my gutter because of the gutter working that they've done. And they were just all over the spot. So I was like, right, spray it. And I've doused the floor with it. And I went out there before and checked. And they don't seem to be all over the place, which is at least a step in the right direction. And then at the moment, they don't seem to be in the house. I managed to kill most of the ones in the living room. And then the kitchen's where they're mainly at, I'll be honest. So we'll just see what it's like tonight, I guess. Right, break a tool, cut down 2 trees and harvest 6 figs. We can do that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to kill some kangaroos. So if you don't like kangaroo killing, close your eyes. But I need to break my tool. And we don't kill diggers. The nurse I had in hospital was very frustrated with me because I have OCD, so everything had to be very nice and straight. To be honest, nurses need to be more understanding. When my partner was in hospital, he basically ended up with a hole in his lung. This was 15 years ago now. And there was a fella on the ward with him. And he clearly suffered with mental health issues, possibly Alzheimer's too. And he would get frustrated and he couldn't just sit in one place. He had to basically, someone had to be speaking to him to make him sit in one place, or he'd just like to wander. And obviously, you know, when they're on a hospital ward, you know, just getting up and wandering around the hospital isn't exactly what they need you to be doing. But at the same time, they wouldn't sit there with him and keep him accompanied. And every time he'd basically start wandering off, they would start having a go, and like they'd end up basically having to look after him and find him, to the point of it was at other people's detrimental of health. Like people weren't getting medications on time and things like that because obviously they were having to find him. And it got to the point of they didn't understand it and they basically started restraining him. And they'd gone from basically not dealing with him to all of a sudden restraining him and manhandling him. And it was just like total opposite. And to see that in like person, that was a bit upsetting and heartbreaking, to the point of I'm pretty sure they basically ended up sending him to the mental institute that was part of the hospital. But it was just so annoying how they went from not dealing with him to then restraining him. It was very hard to see. Yeah, you'd expect them to want to sit down and just talk to him, keep him accompanied, because this is the thing, not all nurses on the wards are there to give you medication. Like some are literally meant to be there to sit and talk to them and just make sure they're comfortable and they know where they're at. Yeah, exactly. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just, as bad as it is, he was just fed up of being in a bed, nobody talking to him, and then he'd end up going wandering because, as bad as it is, I think the Alzheimer's was kicking in, if you ask me personally, and he'd forget where he was. And then he'd end up just going in the lift. And this is the thing, it's not like he even went to other wards. He used to basically stand in the lift and go up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's all he did. Yeah, probably really bored. Yeah, exactly. Ready Player Lenny, thank you for the follow. Very much appreciated. Hope you're having a good day and enjoying the stream. Playing Dinkum and having a bit of a chin wag, as we say in the UK. But yeah, it was heartbreaking to see, because it clearly wasn't just a, you know, he was a young boy, say for instance, just misbehaving or anything like that. It seemed like it was a mental health problem, and they just weren't dealing with it in the right way. I mean, if they ended up sending him to the mental institute that was part of the hospital, they could have easily sent that person up on the ward to just sit with him, you know what I mean, whilst they were making sure he was getting better, because I think he had pneumonia. So, you know, he obviously wasn't well as it was, but then they just basically dealt with him in the wrong way. To be honest though, the hospital near us is quite bad. It's been, there's been a few issues there. There was like quite a lot of baby deaths a few years ago. And then a few of the wards actually got closed down because they weren't keeping the maintenance up. So they weren't tidy and clean, and it was proving to be at detriment to some of the actual patients there, and some of them unfortunately ended up passing away because of the cleanliness of the hospital. And then some of the nurses unfortunately also weren't properly trained, so they were giving medication to the wrong patients or giving too much medication to the wrong patients, and that unfortunately ended up with a few deaths. So I must admit, since I've been back there, they do seem like they've had a firm talking to and a bit more training, but it's still not perfect, which is a shame and a little worrying, obviously, if you end up needing them. The actual emergency, like A&E I think it's called, that's not too bad, but the actual hospital itself isn't the best. Right, well, we're just harvesting and collecting a few things. Sorry, I yawned in the middle of talking then. We do need some more dark wood trees, so let's try and get that as well. Here's some. Chop down some of these. Oh, I didn't mean to chop down that, but oh well, we've got it now. In fact, maybe we actually do chop down some wattle bushes so that we can actually grow some near the home. Although there's that many, I don't know whether we really need to. Don't want to break this tool either, so keep an eye on it. I think we're getting 2 seeds from this tree. So if we plant some back down here. Oh no, that, oh yeah it did, it gave us 2. If we plant half of them back down here and then half of them near the home. Oh, there's a beehive, nice. Right, so first of all we need to get our net out. Right, smash it. Catch the bees. I think they're only bee bees. Baby bees, not queen bees. We need queen bees. And I need to eat. May as well eat 2 of them. Right. Now we need the shovel and the seed. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll plant 5. Where are the others? That's 3. No, that was the wrong spot. 4 and 5. And that was the wrong spot. Better fill that in. Right, there we go. Take the rest of these home. We need to get rid of them X's. That was a mine run. Well, that's the thing. We need to do some treasure hunting. Oh, we were meant to be doing fishing. That's what we were meant to be doing. Getting our fishing up. Let's get that crocodile. Get some croco meat. Ready for John when he's hungry. Oh no. Use it. There we go. A little bit of cheesing doesn't harm anybody, and it definitely stops them hurting me. And initially we can make our copper pickaxe a iron pickaxe as well. So that won't break. Definitely something we need to do. Because we'll leave the jackhammer for when we go down to the mine. Which I don't know whether we'll do today or not. Because we don't have any keys. So if we did go down, it would literally be for ore. Which seems a bit of a shame. We need iron. 1, 2. Oh, it was a queen bee. Aye. Today's been one of those days that, to be honest, it's a bit of everything. Just getting some resources, getting some food. What else? Mining. We've done a bit of mining. Upgrading our tools. We managed to get our first power tool, which is at least a start. We need to plant these around here. Do we have honey already in this box over here? Yes, we do. So I don't think we'll be doing a mine run because we have no... I don't think they're in there. We have no keys. And without keys we can't go in the treasure rooms. Which really, to be honest, the treasure rooms are what we need. We'll get some of these cut up into planks. So that when someone wants to move in, we've already got them. Yeah, I thought the seed was in here. We need to put these teas away. They're still cooking. The bee can... We'll just release it. They're not really worth selling. Why is the croc meat not going in there? I don't think I put it in there, that's why. And then Rupu's in here. So let's go upgrade the copper pickaxe into an iron pickaxe. We also need to find some more bottle brushes. which might be a case of going and trying to chop them up. We have got a bit of the day. We could try and do that. Right, we'll put that there. Put that there. We don't really need that on us. Right, let's put some of these tools away because I don't want them breaking just in case. Bug net, I guess we can keep on us. We need that on us just in case. And we've got food, right. So we need to go to this area here. So we'll just follow the island around. And we're looking for these bushes, a bit like this, but with red flowers on them instead. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop it down. Hopefully it gives us 2 seeds. If it gives us 2 seeds, we'll plant one of the seeds where we found the bush. And we'll bring one home with us. So that means we can actually start growing bottle bushes next to our home. So it means we can actually start farming up health potions when we've got the keg. Right. We need to go around this curve and then down. I'd rather go around the curve and follow the island around than swim, because swimming uses up some of our energy. If I'd have fought properly, I could have actually used the boogie board, but I didn't. There's a tree there. Right. There might be some on here because I don't... Was this where I was at before and nearly got attacked? Oh, there's one over there. And that's on a different piece of land, right. If we remember that on the way back, we'll collect it. If we don't, it'll just stay there. Right. Zoom in. All the apples on the map are where we've got fruit trees growing. If anybody was wondering. I've been marking all my fruit trees. All the trees, fruit trees, other than the bush limes. Because the bush limes are that common. We don't need to mark them. Right, we only got one. What do we want to do with that? If we only got one, I think I'll take it with. Me and plant near my home. But that wasn't good. We need them to drop 2 if possible. That's the problem with these bottle brushes. The bottle brushes tend to either drop 1 or none, which isn't really that great. Because really, ideally, you want them to drop 2, so that way you can replant it where it is. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Hope you're doing well, Aussie. And like that, it dropped none. I'm going to get ripped off on this island. Which is not going to be fun at all. Keen YOU. You've confused me now. What's that mean? Good. Good, good. That's what we like to hear. Are you doing a Dinkum stream later on tonight? Did I read on the community tab? I think I marked that one. We are currently trying to find bottle brush seeds so that we can plant them where we found them and take some home with us to plant near base. And so far it's not going that great. Oh, there's a few over there. Maybe we're going to have to do a bit of swimming. If you, Sarah Lou, if you're still there and you enjoyed Dinkum, Mr. Aussie Nuts, who's just commented, is a great Dinkum streamer who is actually originally from Australia, and he does other things, obviously, other than just Dinkum, but he is a fabulous Dinkum streamer. Day off tonight. Recharge that battery. Every now and then we've got to have a down day. Mine was yesterday. I managed to stream all weekend and then it finally caught up to me on Monday, so I was like, right, day off. Also the partner had a doctor's appointment, so it was an early morning. Right, we're going to have to swim across here. See whether we get any better luck with these wattle brushes here. Probably not, but we can try. Nope. Oh, you're very welcome. I love your streams, so I don't mind simply giving someone a shout out. Oh, that's not good at all. I wonder why. Surely they can't just remove you from the doctors and not let you know what the reason behind it is. I wonder whether they've had maybe a doctor leave or something. Because say for instance if it was you, they'd be bound to tell you, oh well, we've removed it out of the practice because say for instance we don't like your attitude or something. I'm not saying that is the case with you, but normally they're at least happy to say that if it is like fault of your own sort of thing. I do know though in the UK it is really weird. I know in the UK they've just passed a like a new, it's not really a law, but they've basically said that doctors can't leave you now. Do you know how they used to say, oh well, you've got to ring up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get an emergency appointment? They can't do that legally now anymore. They have to, if you're saying, look, I've got something wrong with my chest or I generally feel like I need to see a doctor, they have to legally now see you. It's something they just changed recently. So maybe it's got something to do with that. Maybe they've got like too many patients and not enough doctors. Maybe. But normally they'd happily say that though, if that was the case. It's definitely an odd one. I hope you find somewhere. Because, you know, don't you need to have a checkup initially because you banged your head as well? Or have they just left it at, well, you need bed rest? Because I'd have thought somebody would need to check up on you and make sure obviously you are feeling okay and that there hasn't been any long-term repercussions from you hitting your head. No. Go away. I can't mark it. I'm not being eaten. You alright? Good. is there no way that maybe you can make a emergency with them, like an emergency appointment with them? Just explain, obviously, you banged your head recently to the point of, obviously, you spent 48 hours in the in the hospital, and see whether maybe they'll be able to just do like a one-off appointment until you can get registered with somewhere. Because even getting registered with a doctor nowadays can take like 2 weeks. It's not something that just happens overnight. And because obviously you've had the head trauma, you know, you'd think really they'd be obliged to at least check you over to make sure. Because worst case, what you might have to do is if you are feeling like there's side effects, maybe going to the hospital would maybe be the best option. And just obviously explain to them that you obviously had the doctors, but they've signed you off. Yeah. Well, keep me updated on it, because obviously we do care. And I want to know that you're alright, because I can't believe that the doctors also don't want to know, because a head trauma, it can be quite brutal. Like, even if you're not showing any signs of like side effects of it, you know, really it is something they're meant to keep an eye on. I mean, it's a good thing that you've got a partner living with you, because otherwise, do you know what I mean, who's initially keeping an eye on you? Really, that's the job of a doctor's or a hospital, do you know what I mean? But then, set me alight. To sign you off, you know what I mean? They couldn't have picked it at the worst of time. No. Run away and eat. Oh, that was close. Hate these bush devils. They always get me. I normally do a bush dance, and that's like this, jumping around like a loony. The thing is, though, that the hospital can only do so much. Like, they are there for emergencies, don't get me wrong, do you know what I mean? So if anything does happen, don't hesitate to go to them, because they'd rather you went to them than obviously, you know, not get checked up and something, you know, side effect wise happens. But the thing is, your doctors are liable just as much as the hospital is. Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense, because the thing is, I understand hospitals, obviously, they do checkups, do you know what I mean? Like I said, if you feel like you need a checkup, make sure you go. But normally, the reason a doctor will, the hospital sign you off is because the doctors should be doing the follow-up checkup. Do you know what I mean? You're not an emergency anymore sort of thing. It's not like a critical, you need medical help. Do you know what I mean? Normally, that's when the doctors are meant to step in and go, right, we'll follow up with them, because at the end of the day, obviously, they're legally meant to be obliged to make sure nothing happens to you. So it is a bit of an odd one, that, I'll be honest. I mean, is there no one you can talk to about it? Is there not like a manager maybe that you can get in touch with and just say that obviously you're a bit concerned because you've just had a bang to the head, you don't feel like obviously it's an emergency, hence why you don't really want to bother a hospital with it. But you were told by the hospital that you needed a follow-up appointment with a doctor and see whether maybe a manager can at least put on your notes. Well, obviously maybe, say for instance, if they've got too many clients. Oh, that's rubbish, that. But maybe it's better off overall if you can get a new doctor's, because it doesn't sound too great, to be honest with you. Like, obviously it's not an immediate fix, but if they're not picking up the phone, do you know what I mean? Like, they don't sound like they've got the client's best interest at heart, which is a horrible thing to say or even think, do you know what I mean? But it does seem like something's amiss. Right, we need to plant these somewhere. Maybe we'll put them near the museum for now. It's not good news though. I mean, do you have a number for the local ombudsman? I think that's how you say it. Oh, yeah. The flaming registrars at the doctors, to be honest, some of them need just a polite reminder that they're not the doctor. They're the exact same at my doctor's. They basically, they'll be like, so what's wrong with you? And you'll tell them your symptoms and they're like, yeah, you don't need to see a doctor. The doctors are busy. It's like, you're not a doctor. You're not qualified to tell me I don't need to see a doctor. Like, I would like a doctor's phone call, thank you. But if you say that legally, they have to make sure a doctor rings you. There was basically a law ruled recently that if you demand a doctor's appointment and say you want a phone call from a doctor, they have to actually oblige now and put you on that list. And if you don't end up hearing from that doctor, the best thing to do is call 111. And even if it's not an emergency, 111 can put it through on the documents on the system that a doctor has to ring you. So if that has to be the way you go about things, then do that and don't hesitate, because it is literally something they've just ruled as what has to happen. You're not eating much. That's not a good sign though, love. If you were to tell a doctor you've just hit your head and you're not eating much, that could be a sign of concussion. Are you still keeping in your fluids though? Making sure you drink a lot of water and, you know, trying to get maybe, like, say for instance, a Lucozade, bit of sugar in you whilst you're drinking. Because you do need to try and keep yourself, at least if you're not eating, very hydrated. Because water's really, really good for the brain, especially if maybe you've got a bit of swelling because you've hit your head. You definitely need to. Drinking loads and food just doesn't sound good. Is the not eating a lot happened since you banged your head, or is it something that you have a genuine problem with? The only reason I'm asking is because I myself do struggle eating a bit. I generally have one meal and then snacks during the day, which isn't too bad, but the doctors would prefer it if you actually ate 3 meals. Right, what's your job, Theodore? I have no flaming idea what that is. A painted lady butterfly. Yeah, definitely don't know what that is. I have got a new butterfly for you though. I just accepted it. Why did I accept it? Oh my god. Well, Theodore's gonna hate me. He's gonna go down a quarter of a heart. My bad. I love food, but since my injury to my head, everything changed a little. Yeah, you need to get in contact with somebody. So you said a few days ago you hit your head, and then since you've not really felt like eating, but you're drinking plenty of water. Are you drinking loads? You've not had any dizziness or nausea or anything like that, have you? Now, obviously, I'm not a trained doctor, but these are just general things that I know when I've, like, banged my head because I've passed out because of a migraine. That's what they ask. I guess I can sell you them. No, just more tired, yeah. You may have a slight concussion. It's not really anything to worry about, like, immediately, but just keep an eye on it. But I'd say if you're still not feeling like you need to eat, and you're still feeling very tired, maybe Thursday or Friday, try and ring the doctors. If you don't get any answer from the doctors, ring 111 and just ask them for a bit of advice, because the fact that since you've hit your head, you're not really eating. My mum-in-law is watching me closely. Well, I'm glad somebody's watching you, but I really would, if you're not eating by, say, Friday, I'd maybe just ring 111 and just just say to them, I'm not really wanting to see anybody. I'm more ringing for advice, and just explain to them that obviously you've hit your head, but since you hit your head, you're feeling really tired and you've gone off food, because it might not be something like really emergency wise, but they might be able to give you, say for instance, protein shakes, just to sort of kick your metabolism back into action. When I was struggling to eat, they have Ensures, and they're a protein drink. They're not dead thick though. They're like they're almost like a Slim Fast, but they're obviously not to lose weight. They're just to give you all the nutrients and the vitamins and everything that obviously, because you're not eating, you won't be getting all of that in. And obviously with the injury to your head, you do need to sort of get vitamins and protein into you, and they might even just give you like a 2-week prescription of Ensure, which might just make your stomach stretch a little bit, and it might just kick off the eating again. Yeah, she wanted Harley Quinn sound. Because, yeah, my mum-in-law is going to call them Thursday. Yeah. She's got the best intentions, and like I said, I'm glad she's there watching over you, because, you know, a hit to the head might not seem like much, but it can be a big thing. You know, they might not have, you might not have obviously got a bleed to the brain, or else you wouldn't have been out of hospital, do you know what I mean? But the fact you're not eating could initially slow down the healing process. You know, obviously the body's trying to heal, and because it's healing, that's maybe why you are a bit more tired. I understand why he's confused, because he'll be worried. And obviously, if it was because he injured himself, Do you know what I mean? He's probably feeling a bit of guilt there. Like, well, have I caused it? And obviously he hasn't caused it. You know what I mean? He didn't intentionally try and cut himself. And you passed out because of that. And even if that was the case, do you know what I mean? That's not his fault. You fainted. But he'll be worried as well. But it sounds like you've got a good network of people around you, which is what's important. It's not like you sat at home by yourself and, you know, going through this by yourself, which I'm glad. Right, we need to clear 4 tree stumps and find some buried treasure. Ugh. Bloody beeping of this machine. It drives me insane. In fact, how many permit points have we got? Oh, we'll go for the X's. Yeah, I imagine the hospital said that to you. But I'm just glad that you're listening to the advice they gave you, because sometimes it's easy enough for people to say, don't be alone. But the thing is, sometimes it's not as easy to, you know, get people around you that can be there 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, people have jobs and, you know, say for instance, your partner, he might have to go shopping for food for you because obviously you're on bed rest. And, you know, there are a few hours of the day sometimes you could be alone, but I'm glad you're not. Oh, are we going to see X's on the or do I need to sleep to make the license work? I think it should just automatically show up. I mean, is there no little sort of snack that you sort of, you know, sort of go to when you're feeling a bit, ugh? We do shopping online now because it is easier. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I do a lot of my shopping online anyway because it's a lot easier, I'll be honest. I don't like the world outside. So if I can try and stay in and not have to deal with it, I tend to. I'll be honest. I also find that you can buy better like deals online sometimes as well. So it's one reason I transferred to online shopping. Ow. As long as you're having a little nibble every now and then, though, that'll at least help the body regenerate. I can't even say the word that I'm thinking, but it'll at least give the body some more energy, even if it's just every now and then a nibble, and it's not a full biscuit. It should at least give you something to sort of boost you a little bit up. But yeah, if you're not eating by Thursday, I'd maybe even suggest to the doctor, is there any way of getting like a protein drink just whilst you're obviously trying to heal and you need the resources in your body, because it's not very good that you're not eating whilst you're trying to heal. I mean, you won't die or anything. You've got the liquids in you, which is one thing. You know, if it was both of them that you weren't doing, I'd be saying bring them today. And don't wait and don't hesitate. No, you make sense. If anything, it's more I don't make sense. I try and use big words and then they just don't come out. I don't know whether anybody else has that problem, but I always think of a word and then try and say it and it's on the tip of my tongue, but it just doesn't come out. I've got a spear on me, so why am I using my hatchet? God only knows. And I could put that away because I ain't using the metal detector. I can't deal with the beeping from it. I'm surprised they didn't already have the X location license already. If anything, that's one thing I will say, to be honest. Your comments have always made sense. Which is at least a good sign. I mean, I haven't even hit my head, but most of my comments when I'm in a stream and I'm trying to talk to somebody don't make sense, so... You've at least got that going for you. Yeah, please do. And you'll be in my thoughts. For definite. And hopefully we can keep you entertained whilst you're on bed rest. Oh, what's that? Oh, Rupu in the water. Oh, an amber. Nice. We'll go sell that. Shop's still open. I don't know whether we're going to be able to move some... Oh, no it's not. It's Sunday. I told a lie. Being on bed rest or just generally how you feel? Because I can imagine you've got a bit of a headache, especially if you've hit your head. But bed rest, I can understand. I suffer from fibromyalgia, so when I can't play games, I get quite down. Both. I thought so. I don't mean to laugh, but it's one of those laughing because I can understand your pain. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain when you're on bed rest. You want to do things, but you're just not allowed. And then if you've got people around you who care, you've also got them saying, no, get back in that bed. You're not allowed to move. Bed rest, I'll do what you need. What do you want? Yeah, it can suck. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, at the start of this year, I had 3 months of just constant illnesses. It was one thing after another after another. It went from like a throat virus to just generally like a virus in general. And then I had a chest problem. And then because I'd been ill for so long and my body hadn't had time to have a flare up from fibro, I then had a huge massive flare up during being ill as well as at the end of it. So I couldn't walk. And yeah, it drove me a little bit crazy, to be honest. I got to the point where I was just like, do you know what? I can't lay here anymore. I just need to do something. And luckily enough, I managed to get on. I think it was actually Dinkum. And I was just like, even if I don't understand 100% what I'm doing, and, you know, I'm messing it up a little bit because I just don't have the real 100% capacity of my brain. I just need to do something. And luckily enough, I managed to get out of it, and I've had about 2 months where I've been alright, even though just recently I've got over a chest infection. I do at the moment, I'll be honest. Well, I pretend I do. It's like now at the moment, I'm just wandering around trying to figure out what to do. Oh, you're more than welcome, but I'll be honest, I appreciate the fact that you've stuck around in the stream and you're liking the conversation and the gameplay, because as a little streamer, it is much appreciated. Like, I don't really normally have many people in my chat. I have had a few people pop by, but they've not been here for as long as you have, which I appreciate a hell of a lot. And I hope I'm not talking too much and giving you a headache either, because you do need to recover. But I hope it's been enough of a distraction. Even if you are still feeling a bit bleh, at least we're keeping each other accompanied. I think I'll just try and find some treasure. Oh, I need to put my legs down. I'm starting to get pins and needles. I get that. I'm very much one of those. I don't mind talking in a stream. Say for instance, if there's like maybe 10 people. But once it gets really busy, I tend to like shy away a little bit. I'll be honest, I was a lurker on YouTube, and I have been a lurker on YouTube for many, many, many years. And only recently have I actually started talking in, I'll be honest, it's mainly Dinkum streams, because I find the Dinkum community is quite welcoming, and it's rare that you find a toxic person in the Dinkum community, although I have had a bit of toxicity in Dinkum, I'll be honest, but I just let it slide, and I'm just like, well, you know, they might be having a bad day. You know, I'm an easy target, so I just won't bite back and I'll leave them to it. But if I find that it gets too busy, like, I don't know if you've heard of him, Canzalone. He basically was one of the first streamers I watched do Dinkum content. And in his stream, his first few streams were quite quiet. So it was easy to talk to him, because not many people really knew what Dinkum was. So a lot of people were like, well, do I want to watch it or don't I want to watch it? And then about 10 episodes into his series, all of a sudden his chat was like popping, and he got 10,000 followers, and then his chat was just like constant. Well, that's not on at all. Like, there's no reason to ban you. Like, you've been in my channel for at least an hour, if not nearly 2, and you've not said anything rude. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. You're not rude, you're not a backseat gamer, which is what some streamers are a bit funny about, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see any reason at all to ban you. Like, that doesn't really make sense at all to me. Like, there's not even been something I've been like, well, what does she mean by that comment? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just that streamer's sort of, her own disconfidence maybe is kicking in there. Because I found that if you're a good chatter, for instance, and people like you, and they start commenting and atting you, and like you have a good conversation going with some people in their stream, I find sometimes the streamer can be a bit like, well, why are they here? Are they like clout chasing? Or I don't know what else really, to be honest. It doesn't make sense to me why people are like that, and you end up getting banned because all of a sudden everybody's atting you and not the streamer. I have even messaged them saying sorry if I had anything wrong, and they don't even reply. That's just rude. There's, like I said, I don't honestly understand that at all. Like I said, you've not said anything at all in my chat that I'm like, well, what does she mean by that? Have I even got bush limes on me? No. I need to find some food then. Like, yeah, not at all. I don't. Sometimes I wonder whether, like I said, it's just a disconfident thing with the streamer. You know, it's not something you've done personally. It's just a them issue, if that makes sense. Because you seem really polite. You know what I mean? You've not... I don't feel like I've had to talk about your brain injury. Do you know what I mean? I've generally actually felt like it was a conversation that was quite natural, and it doesn't seem like yourself yeah, but still, as a streamer, if I saw that message go through on my stream, say for instance my partner's my mod, and he was like, "Oh, I'm banning her," I'd be like, right, well, what was the reason for banning her? And if there wasn't a viable reason, then the ban would be automatically lifted, and I'd write to you and apologise. So even that to me doesn't make sense. Like, I understand some people get jealous, because that's what I'm meaning by maybe it's a streamer thing. I think that's the best way to explain it, is sometimes streamers can get very jealous, I guess would be the word, because, you know, you're chatting with chat and you're getting added and people clearly like you. Do you know what I mean? So they ban you because, well, you're taking away from their limelight, sort of thing. But even then, I don't see that being the case, because that's not a good enough reason to ban somebody. And especially somebody like yourself. Like I said, you've been here a while. We've had a good conversation. Do you know what I mean? Even if you weren't to take on some of the advice I'd gave you, I don't feel like you've been rude about it, or you tried to say, look, I know what I'm doing, it's my body, which a lot of people could. Yeah, that's what I got a feeling about. Like, it's not like you've come in here and just wanted to talk about you. Like, some people are very attention seeking. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll go into someone's stream and say, I've had the worst day. And then the streamer tries to ask them what's up, and they don't say anything. But then the next comment they say half an hour later, because the stream's all of a sudden got loads of people in, is, oh, guess what? I've had a shit day. And basically they want attention. Now, I don't feel like that's the issue here either. Do you know what I mean? So that whoever it was clearly isn't a very nice person themselves, is all I can say. And for some reason, they either felt threatened by you, which is probably more likely, or, as bad as it is, they don't have a caring bone in the body, is the only thing I can say to that, to be honest. Like, I have no issue at all you being here. I've enjoyed the conversation. I think you're a lovely person, and I'd like to get to know you more. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that for me. And no offence, but I think it should be with anybody else's chat that you're chatting, or stream that you go to. And that's what makes you a nice person. Like, you can tell that. You're very open and honest, and you've enjoyed just having the back and forth. And as a streamer, that's also what you'd like a lot of your commenters to be. You know, sometimes it's hard just streaming to yourself and recording, because, yeah, people might watch it back, but, you know, there's no interaction whilst you're live. You know, you're sort of talking to yourself. Whereas, at least today, you've stopped me talking to myself, which I appreciate. Sometimes I wonder whether I'm going a little crazy, but I definitely don't feel like that today. So I appreciate you. And don't ever worry that you're going to get banned in my channel, because you won't. And if you ever did, and you wrote to me, I'd explain why. And I'd probably end up unbanning you. But I don't even think you'd ever get banned in my chat, I'll be honest. I don't see a reason at all to. I think you're a lovely person, and I've enjoyed the conversation. I'm sure I saw an X here there, I did. When it goes dark, it's harder to see the X's on the ground, I'll be honest. I like the look of... And that is amazing. I very much appreciate it. And I hope if I ever do get a little bit bigger, you also come around and still talk to me. Oh no, don't say that at all. No, that sounds normal to me because I'm the exact same. I've noticed recently, to be honest, there's been a boom in little streamers. People are realising that it's not necessarily about the growth, and if you enjoy playing a game, why not record it? I mean, I started my channel out, I'll be honest, as almost like a gaming journal. I thought, well, I play this game that much, that why don't I actually record it? And then that way I can see my progress that I'm having on the game. And to realise that even on my bad days, because obviously I have the fibro, you know, I am getting this done on this game, or, you know, I have to make a diary. It's part of my pain management. I have to do a diary of the good days and the bad days and what I get up to. So for this year, I'd already done 5 months of journaling. I was like, well, why don't I do it with the game as well? Because I enjoy playing this game. Like, I spend hours playing this game. And I was just like, my partner mainly convinced me. He was like, considering you play so much of the game, why don't you actually just record yourself playing the game? Because, you know, you might not end up getting big, or people might not enjoy watching it, but at least you get to watch it back. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'd love to play with you. I have like I said, I've got a few series going on this channel. I have a multiplayer island, which is called Streamer Island. So you're welcome to jump on that, obviously, when you do get the game. I have this, which is a solo gameplay, so just me. Just so that, you know, if you happen to play the game, but only have you, because I do know there's a few people in the community that don't feel confident enough to open up the island, because when Dinkum first came out, a lot of people opened up their island and people would come and they'd rob the valuables, like the old keys, because they're hard to find, and it caused a lot of issues. So certain people just don't open up their islands and won't play with friends because, you know, they're worried about people stealing the stuff, which is understandable. So I've done this for them, sort of, so that they can see, you know, what it's like to just play it by yourself and how you can progress the game. Then Streamer Island, me and my partner, I did have one of my other friends join. He literally bought the game that day, so we were trying to teach him how to play the game whilst playing the game. To be honest, I don't have 100% schedule for the streams at the moment. I'm still sort of trying to find my footing of which days I find better, and because of the fibro, sometimes I have to go off my health. But generally the time is 7 p.m. I start. Obviously you're in the UK, so you understand that. 7 p.m. GMT time. We tend to stream for about 3 to 4 hours most of the time. Obviously, if I'm feeling a bit run down that day, it might be a shorter stream. But if you hit the subscribe button, it'll drop down a menu where you can get notifications for when we go live. If you click all, you should get a notification for if I write in the community tab. And what I tend to do is if I'm going to go live that day, there's probably a post about it saying I'm going to go live today. Or there'll be at least a post saying, oh, I'm not feeling up to it today, so I might skip a day. But generally, the days I tend not to stream are either Saturday, Sunday or Monday. And it doesn't tend to be all 3 of them days either. No problem. Basically what I was saying is, I don't really have a schedule. 7 PM is my starting time for streaming. But a lot of the time, I'll try and stream every day, I'll be honest. I do tend to stream every day. But obviously, if I'm feeling worn down because of my fibro, or I've been up all night and not really slept, there'll be a post on my community tab. So if you hit subscribe, there should be a menu that drops down. And if you click the bell that says all, you should get notified when I put a community tab post up. So if there isn't going to be a stream that day, I tend to write in the community tab post that there's no stream. Or most of the time, I do write in there saying obviously there'll be a stream at 7. Just so that way people know. Because I haven't learned how to do the... Is it Premiere? Basically like how you... Oh no, don't be silly. You know, phones turn off on themselves. I mean, mine's currently dead at the moment. And the fibro is just something I've had to live with. I've had it 5 years now, so I'm starting to get used to the signs and things like that. So it's not really too much of a bother. To be honest, my mama had it, so I have learned to sort of live with it through her. And also, I know what the telltale signs are now. I am actually due to get some medication for it. Some actual medication rather than just codeine. They are going to put me on some serious medication. I just recently got a new phone in December. I literally, before that, didn't have a phone. I got stressed out and threw it at a wall, but we won't talk about that. So it was just using my partner's phone, and his phone was terrible. It'd literally hold battery for 20 minutes and then it'd be dead. So I understand. Phones, to be honest, they're great when they work, but when they don't, they suck. Like, seriously. Yeah, I got a message that I didn't want to read. So instead of reading it, I basically threw it at the wall and was like, right, I've had enough of this. I don't want any more messages that I don't want to read. So, boom, into a wall. I have since learnt that the emotions sometimes that I experience aren't the best and I don't handle them well. It's also, unfortunately, part of fibro. But I am getting better at dealing with it. I've managed to keep this phone alive for 5 months, so we're on an upward curve with that. Oh, I did. Yes. I felt better straight away, and then the reality kicked in that I'd thrown my phone. Yeah, the moments are one of those. It's very relieving at the time, but then you realise what you've done, and you calm down, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I have an appointment, and people are trying to get in touch with me, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. But in the same breath, I'm glad I did, because I also... At the time, I was struggling a lot with social media, and I found that when I was feeling down and upset and, you know, miserable, I'd find myself scrolling a lot on Facebook, and it really didn't help because, you know, the good old stuff that goes on social media, it's always the best side of life, and it's never the miserable side of life. And it was like, well, why can't my life be going like that right now? Like, I need some good in my life. Like, you know, that person's having a baby, or that person's having a party, they've got loads of friends, blah blah blah, and you're like, well, why can't I be like that? And it was feeding into the mental illness, so it gave me a chance to step away from social media, and it sort of helped me put a bit of a break between it. I don't think I've ever been that lucky for my partner to catch it. Most of the time, I'll be honest, it was probably my partner wire through it. Yes, social media is definitely the most toxic place going. I'm glad that I did break my phone, because it gave me about 8 months, I think it was, I didn't have a phone, because my partner was trying to buy me a new phone straight away, and I was like, no, don't want it. And he was like, why? I was like, I'll just end up throwing it again. I just don't want it. Funnily enough, mine does that too. He gets hold of me and he's like, well, you're clearly in a mood. What's wrong? And he won't let go of me until I explain to him what's wrong. So that's definitely a coping mechanism that he's also figured out. It's funny how they think alike. Oh, I didn't need to sell anything to you, sorry John. I wanted you daily. Also, I love when he makes me a cup of tea. Funnily enough, do you know what? I'm the same. My partner, he makes a banging cup of tea. Banging cup of tea. It's one of our jokes. He's like, you only keep me around to make you cuppas. I'm like, no, of course I don't. He's like, I'm sure you do. I'm like, no, you just make a cup of tea, so you can make me a cup of tea. And then recently I found white hot chocolate. Galaxy white hot chocolate. If you've not had it, try it. Honestly, it is the best drink ever. It is gorgeous. I don't like hot chocolate, but white hot chocolate, yes please. Love it. I don't even know whether I can find a peacock spider over here. Oh wow, my pill's harvestable. We'll have that. Let me have a look in the pedia. I'm glad you tried it. Definitely one of my favourites. I'm sure we're in the bushlands, aren't we? Yeah, bushlands. So, anywhere. It's definitely one of my favourites. I first came across it in Thornton's. Thornton's used to do it. And they used to put cream on it, and I was like, nope, I don't like squirt cream, so please don't. So the waitress got to know me by the end of it, and she was like, you're the girl that doesn't like squirty cream. So she used to make me a large one, put extra marshmallows in it, and she just saw the smile on my face, and she was like, I like that. You know, you can see that I've made your day. Because it was a place where they just do hot chocolates, and they do like mint hot chocolate, Aero hot chocolate, Malteser hot chocolate. Aww. That's cute. Me and my partner sleep on the sofa because he's got a chest problem. And then fibro. You just don't get comfy laid down. And then we've obviously got house issues as well. Unfortunately, the bedroom's full of damp, so obviously with his chest problems, he can't sleep in there. And then I try to, and it just ends up making me cough loads. So at the moment, we're both down on the sofas. At one point, though, he used to literally, because when his chest actually first had the issue, he couldn't actually sleep in the bed laying down. He used to have to be propped up. So he was like, right, you sleep upstairs in the bed. This was before my fibro was like as bad as it is now. And he'd sleep on the sofa. And he'd always come up and check on me to make sure I was alright, because he's always like a night owl. He can stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Whereas I try to tend to go to bed. I used to be on a 10 o'clock sleeping pattern. But that's gone out the window recently. Whereas now it's about 12 if I can sleep. And he'll always come in and check up on me, even if I'm in the living room. He's got a computer room initially that's on the same level as me. And he always pops his head in just to make sure I'm alright. Yeah, it's basically, they tend to try and say it's actually a nerve problem, which personally I don't agree with. But basically, it affects your legs and your wrists, and it basically can mean that you have trouble walking, or sometimes it's like you have trouble using your hands. And it's a bit like arthritis, but the thing is with arthritis you generally have inflammation markers in your blood, so they can tell it's arthritis. Whereas with fibro, you have all the arthritis symptoms, but you don't have the inflammation markers in your blood. And what happened was, I was actually working in a takeaway, and I used to work nearly every single day because somebody'd ring in sick, or somebody just wouldn't want to come to work that day or whatever. And hey, and behold, I was the person who'd ring for cover, and I would go in. Sometimes I'd be there all day, and then when there was like events going on in my town, I could be there till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was dead happy working, loved it. Like, I was getting the social side of life. And then next minute, I all of a sudden couldn't walk, to the point of I literally had to stop working. And I couldn't understand what was going on. Like, I knew my mum had issues with her legs, but I never really fully understood what that was. And then it ended up being for quite a while, like 3 weeks or something like that. And I was like, something's really not right here. So I went to the doctors, and the doctors were like, oh, you've just pulled a muscle. That'll be it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, it doesn't feel like a muscle issue. So they kept basically saying, you know, babe, just relax, take some time off your feet, don't do much. And I was like, right. So they did that for an extra week, and it never got better. So I went back to the doctors. I was like, this doesn't get better. This isn't a sprained muscle. If it was a muscle, it'd be getting better by now. And they were like, right, well, we'll have to look into it. And to start off with, they were just giving me every excuse under the sun. You know, it's a muscle, it's a sprain, it's this, it's that. Maybe you're eating the wrong things. Maybe it's your diet. I was like, well, I've tried everything, and I still can't walk. And this is about 5 months into it now. So the doctors then sent me off for bloods, and they came back fine. And then I managed to see a pain management person, and they were like, right, well, by the issues that you're talking about, because like every now and then I can lose sensitivity in my feet to the point of I can't even move my toes. And he was like, well, we'll send you off for an MRI. No, yeah, an MRI scan of your legs to see whether there's anything like maybe blood clot or anything like that we can see. And that came back fine. And he was like, right, well, what we can do is we'll put it down as fibro, which means basically the inflammation markers from your brain and your bones and your joints are basically telling you that there's something wrong. And initially it stops, you can stop walking and things like this. And the amount of pain I was in, and then they were like, right, because it's mainly your legs that you're complaining about, how about you start using crutches? So I started using crutches, and once I started using crutches to take the weight off my legs, all of a sudden my wrists were starting to hurt and I couldn't really use my wrists as much. And then that was when they came up to the conclusion of, well, it must be fibromyalgia. And it's basically, it's like arthritis, but you just don't have the inflammation markers, is the best way to explain it. Basically, you get really stiff, and it can also cause like, it's almost like having something wrong with your brain, like having a headache, and it makes you forget things, but they call it brain fog. And when I started coming down with that, I was forgetting like just simple things in life, just really simple mundane tasks, and I was losing memories. And I explained that to the doctor, and that's when they started taking me serious for fibromyalgia. They were like, yeah, she's definitely got fibromyalgia. So they put me on to pain management again. I had to do a 8-week course of basically learning what fibro was, and learning how to do a pain diary, and learning like how to appreciate the good days and the bad days. And then recently they've actually just got me onto the waiting list for some anesthesia, basically. I'm about to get lidocaine, which is like the injection you get at the dentist, but basically they put it in your blood system. So I've been a little bit stressed about that, to the point of basically when I get that, I've got to come at home in an ambulance, which I'm not looking forward to. That's had me a bit worried, to be fair. But at least I'm getting in the right direction. What do we need to do now? I think it's just collecting things again. Just go treasure hunting again. It's not... I appreciate that. That means a lot. It's more anxious than worried, I think, is the best way to explain it. Basically, they've told me whilst I get it done, I've got to have the heart monitor on, and I'll be heavily observed by nurses and doctors. So I know I'm in the right care, and I know it's like a step forward, as in like the right medication, and hopefully maybe some relief. It's just been a little bit worrying because the pain management person who I did the course with, he was like, oh, it's just like the injection that you get at the dentist. So do you know, like when they have to pull out a tooth and they give you the injection and your face goes numb? It's just a bit like that. So I was like, all right, fair enough. That's fine, yeah, I guess. We'll try it. You know, I can't knock it until we've tried it. And then the actual doctor rang me, and he was like, oh no, it's not just like the injection from the dentist. You'll be on the heart monitor, you'll be on breathing apparatus, you'll be under heavy observation. And by the way, you also need to get the ambulance to take you home. And I was like, well, why all of this for just like an injection at the dentist? He was like, yeah, it's not. The reason he explained it like that is because Yeah, well, this is going to be through an IV. And he's basically explained, obviously, they've got to inject it into my vein. And then they basically will strap it up to my arm. Hopefully, the only thing is, it can make me weak before it can make me better. So, I have an issue with my autoimmune system because of the fibromyalgia, basically. That dampens my immune system. So if I go out anywhere, it's more unlikely that I'll come back and I'll be ill for a few days. Or, you know, say for instance, a common cold that takes like 3 to 6 weeks to get rid of. You're talking 2 months, nearly 3 months for me to get rid of it. And that's why I'm a little bit worried about it, because I'm already struggling sometimes just doing like, say for instance, if I go to town and do a bit of shopping uptown because, you know, I've forgotten something on my shopping list and when I got my food delivered. So I'll end up going out town and someone will end up coughing near me, and hey and behold, that'll result in me having a chest infection for like 2 to 3 weeks. And unfortunately, this medication that they're going to give me is going to make me weak. So we're not having a great house at the moment. And then if I go out, I don't even know whether I'll be able to go out. Say for instance, because he said like there's a possibility it'll make me really weak for a week at least after I've had it done. And the first time will be worse than any other time, which there's at least that, you know what I mean? The body will at least try and adapt to it a little bit. But also, I don't know whether it's going to solve any of my issues, because I feel like my issues are more muscle problems than actual nerve problems. Because my partner suffers with nerve problems in his chest, and he's like saying that it's always on fire and things like that. Whereas mine feel like most of the time, like, it feels like the ripping, and it doesn't really seem like a nerve issue. But they do say apparently fibro is more of a nerve issue. So this medication's meant to dampen the brain from, basically the nerves will still fire as if they're in pain, but the brain won't be able to like perceive it that way, is the best way of explaining it, I think. This is the thing though, I still don't know the whole ins and outs of it, because I was expecting it to just be a simple phone call and it be like an injection at the dentist, and he then dropped the bombshell of, oh no, you're under heavy observation and all this. So since, my mind's been like, well, what about this? Will it be affected by any of my other medications? Are they going to take me off some of the medications I'm on? And I haven't been able to really ask these questions. So it's just the first time. I think what makes it worse is the waiting. Like the waiting, I've generally been waiting a month as it is. And if you want to tally up how long I've been in this actual pain and had this problem, that's been 5 years. So it's been a long time coming, but it's that anxiety of not knowing how it's going to make me feel and what effects it's going to have on me that I think is just got me a bit anxious. It'll probably be alright though. Normally it is. Like, I normally worry about these things and then it turns out to be perfectly fine. And probably the best thing for me in the end. But I'm a worrywart. I always think about the worst, and then once it's over and done with, I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I imagine that's going to be this, to be honest. Diggle in my bandstand. I believe it. I just need to see it. I appreciate that. Do you have a Facebook or anything? Or Twitter? Worst case, drop me a DM on Twitch and I'll add you on it. Oh, no worries. I just said them both just in case you were one of those that didn't have Facebook. Because nowadays it's quite weird how some people don't have Facebook but they have Twitter, and then hey, lo and behold, they don't have Twitter, they have Facebook. Let's get some more. Oh, I'm going to have to eat and I haven't got food on me. That's not good. And do believe tomorrow we will have a visitor on our island. We might actually sleep and get them moved. Them actually in the campsite. And then that way I don't need to waste food. Have a drink, give me a drink. Oh, another stretch. Oh, Franklin. Nice, nice, nice. Do we have any CDs? We do. Let's give him them CDs. How much money have we got? Oh, we've got a little bit. We might get him to do the charging station. Sweet. I will add you when I end the stream, which won't be too long. Probably do this day, and then we might have to call it there for today. 62k, that's not bad. Oh, wrong button. Chat. What's your job? Oh! Go away. I can't. I'm not doing that. So once we've got that tool off him, next time he visits, he'll move in. Stop asking for fish. I've enjoyed you being here too and having a conversation. It's been good to know you. It's a shame about the head, like, and I won't keep updated about that. And hopefully in the next few days you'll be able to start eating a little bit. But like I said, I'm glad people are looking after you. That's what's most important. And hopefully we've been able to distract you a little bit. Make bed rest not so boring. Oh, we can do that one. That's an insect. Right, where's the blue moon butterfly? No, that's Harlequin. And that's the Harlequin. Probably the same Harlequin. Here we go. There we go. Aye. I definitely agree with that. At least we can keep each other company through it though. Dinks. Nice. Right. Collect shells, find some buried treasure. I saw some buried treasure over here somewhere. There, that X on the ground. Need to find one more. And we also need to get some shells. Do you know what? You could be my sister, you know. Because I'm the exact same. I've got 2 mums. Because I was adopted. None of them care. Got 3 dads. In my birth dad's defense, I don't know him. And I don't know whether he knows about me. So I let him off. So my brother's dad is my stepdad. And then my adoption dad, they both have nothing to do with me. The main person who looks after me is my partner. And I do the same for him. His family are about, and they do as much as they can. Which we do appreciate. But unfortunately, they're not as close as what they used to be when he was younger. Put it that way. So, I know how shitty life can be, unfortunately. But hopefully we can keep each other happy and entertained. Oh, another amber. Family isn't all that it's cracked up to be, is the best way to put it. And also, you don't have to be blood to be really like family. I used to say that all the time. Blood is thicker than water, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it makes people care actually about you. Which is a bit shitty, but... it wouldn't. Initially, talking about some of these things maybe is what people actually need to start doing about life, rather than trying to paint this pretty picture on social media. You know, if more people were honest about family, you know, a lot of people wouldn't actually suffer with depression and loneliness, because they'd realise that there's a lot of people in this world that struggle with family and depression and loneliness. It's a shame, don't get me wrong, and I don't think the world should be as miserable as it is, but at the same time, there's no point in trying to make it out like life's perfect when it's not. Well, it's the truth. To be honest, the people that try and paint this pretty picture on life, to be honest, you have to wonder whether they're doing it to hide the truth initially about life, and maybe they're actually the ones that are suffering more than just ordinary people sharing ordinary life, because nothing's ever perfect in this world. Like, even if you want it to be, it's not going to be. It doesn't mean that you can't strive for like happiness, and it doesn't mean you can't strive for a good time. It just means that you also have like perspective of life, is the way I see it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, if we actually all spoke about the truth of life, then the people that actually really do struggle, unfortunately, the ones that, you know, end up not being with us for as long as they should be, You know, they might not necessarily feel as alone and desperate to, you know, not be here anymore because, you know, we're all very similar. You know, we've not all been through the same things in life, but there are aspects of life that you can relate to. And if we could actually get a bit of relation into, you know, life and not believe that everything's perfect, you know, the ones that are struggling, they wouldn't feel the necessity to hide and then, you know, do the drastic things that they do. If that makes sense. Obviously, there's terms and conditions that I'm trying to also stick to here, but yeah. I mean, there's a reason we have therapists and people that study the brain because, you know, even the wealthiest people, they struggle with depression and anxiety. To be honest though, I don't know whether that's where a lot of the problem started is, you know, we've got famous people painting up this perfect life. You know, if you've got lots of money, there's happiness. And in fact, to be honest, a lot of the wealthy are actually just as struggling as much as the poor. You know, money isn't what buys your happiness at the end of the day. And to try and make people believe that the more money you have, the happier you are, to be honest, I think is what initially caused a lot of the issues that we have in today's society. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, if I get famous, you know, all this misery and woes will go away. But in fact, if you look at the famous people, it doesn't seem to get any better. Oh, I broke my spear. Oh, wow. Oh, I need to get all this stuff, actually, for a charging station so that I can start using my power tools. I totally forgot about that. Oh, my ankle is sore. I shouldn't have sat for as long as I have cross-legged. Yeah, that's basically part of fibro. You can't sit a long time, or else you get dead stiff and sore. I didn't mean to even do that. Right, we need 3 of them. Need 8 of these. Green boards, we need 2 of them. Copper and iron. And we need 8 of them. We can have that. Right, we can get this from him. We've done our dailies, we've done our chores. Oh, that's not what I wanted to press. Making all the mistakes. That sounds like fibro. Have you ever been checked out for fibro or arthritis? Because that's what I'm like. I can't move suddenly. If it ever gets too bad, make sure you do, because you have for the other one arthritis. Because arthritis is the one that they tend to basically test you for. Yeah. Yeah, you basically, the reason they'll test you for arthritis is because arthritis is the one that can basically be diagnosed through your blood. That's the inflammation one. Yeah, that's what they said to me. Yeah, that's what they said to me. They tried to brush it off as injury to the muscle, maybe a sprain, blah, 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 blah. And by the end of it, the pain never got any better, and the doctors actually put me on to a pain management, and that's when they realised that it was fibromyalgia. Because when you go to sleep as well, do you have really broken up sleep? Another one is you get a lot of pins and needles. Because if you suffer with any of that, then I'd say go back to your doctor and tell them you've got fibromyalgia. The reason they don't like testing for fibromyalgia is because there isn't actually a test for fibromyalgia. Yeah, it sounds like you got fibromyalgia, hon. Yeah, the pain is horrible. It's almost like you get an electric shock, and every now and then it's weird because your feet can spasm and they'll twitch on their own. There's no real reason for it. If that's what you're suffering with, get back to the doctors and tell them you got fibromyalgia. And don't take no for an answer. Tell them you want pain management. Because they'll try and brush you off. Basically, fibromyalgia is known as the invisible virus. And a lot of people believe that it's a myth. And it's really not. And the reason that they believe it's a myth is because there's no actual medical test to be done to say you've got fibromyalgia. And this is why a lot of people believe that a lot of basically, back, say for instance, when your parents were children, they basically used to say that was the illness that everybody had claimed they had to be able to go on the sick and not have to work. And it's really not true. The reason people believe that it's an invisible virus and it's not actually real illness is because we don't really understand it that much. They're only recently actually doing studies on mice at the moment to actually figure out what causes fibromyalgia and why it happens, because fibromyalgia is more frequently in a female body than a male body. Males can still get it, but it's very unlikely that a male will suffer from fibromyalgia. And the reason for this is we don't know. Even science to this day still hasn't caught up with why it attacks female body more than male body. Recently though, because of science and testing on mice, they have recently, they think, come up with a solution, a conclusion. Did I even bring that amber chunk back with me? I have no idea. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It doesn't matter. I'll find it if I didn't. They basically believe that the reason fibromyalgia sets in is because it could be something to do with an autoimmune depressant. Basically, your body doesn't know how to stop you from getting ill. So that's the other thing that normally tends to be linked in with it. It's not always. But basically, your thyroid tends to, it may not always be low, but it might basically dip. At the moment, I've been suffering with it since 2010, and they've actually recently started making me do quite regular blood tests to keep an eye on it, because if mine drops any lower, they'll basically have to give me medication that'll boost the immunity, so that way I don't get as ill as frequently and have as much problem like kicking the virus itself. And basically they believe that one of the main features of fibro is generally you have an autoimmune problem. Yeah, you've got fibromyalgia. I didn't even need to do that. No, you need to get a better doctors. You definitely need a better doctors if that was at this doctor's. And you need to go back and tell them that you want to talk to pain management. Because, I haven't even got a tool on me. You really do sound like you got fibromyalgia. When I went, they didn't even make me do anything like that. No squats, no nothing. Like I said, they did blood tests. They did an MRI to make sure it was nothing, blood-wise related or anything like that. Or any clots or initially any damage to my legs or muscles or anything like that. But then because they couldn't find a medical as such reason basically within the test, they basically had to realise that no, it's fibromyalgia. And the reason doctors don't like diagnosing people with fibromyalgia is because a lot of them think it's for attention, and it's really not. If you are struggling to walk and you're struggling to do daily things, then yeah, I really would. And I just explained some of these symptoms, like obviously stretching at night, it kills. You have broken up sleep. Initially what you're explaining is called restless leg syndrome. And it basically means when you're asleep that your legs feel heavy and achy and sore and they end up waking you up. And that's actually the proper diagnosis of one of the symptoms of fibromyalgia. But like I said, unfortunately, a lot of the doctors really don't like diagnosing people with fibromyalgia because they think it's an attention-seeking illness, and it's really not. The only reason they think that, though, is because the science isn't quite there to back up why fibro occurs. Because the thing is, it can be a general genetic reason. They are starting to believe that fibromyalgia could even be a genetic reason, as in, like, if your mum had it, you'll have it. Because that's the thing, in my family, all the females in my family who are older than me, they all have it. Yeah, you've got fibromyalgia, love. Yeah, you've definitely... On my bad days, and now this is embarrassing to say, and, I'm sharing it with you because, I think you need to know this. On my bad days, and I mean bad days, I have to crawl on my bum up the stairs. There is no bending my knees. There is no walking properly up the stairs. I literally have to crawl up the stairs. Like how you would when you're a child and you're learning to crawl up the stairs. That is me on a bad day. To the point of I have to have occupational therapy come to my house and install rails. Do you know, like the rails outside front doors? They're normally on old people's homes. You'll see them for like steps. The white, generally. I have them all over my house. I have them in my bathroom to get into the bath. I have them on the landing so that I can get from the top of the landing to my bedroom because I've got steps. Yeah, I've got them all over the house. Like literally the front door's even got one because I've got a step coming into the house. And the reason I've got them is because a lot of the time I can't bend my knees to get in. And they're there to help. Like I said, to be honest, I do believe, like obviously I'm not a doctor like I explained before, but by all the symptoms that you're saying and explaining, I'd say you've got fibromyalgia. I really would. And I'd definitely get back to a doctor. Get yourself a new doctor. Obviously, it's not as simple as just clicking your fingers and getting one. But when you do, I'd explain some of these symptoms to them. Yeah, that's how mine started. And then try using crutches. It sounds stupid, but that's what they told me. They told me to basically get the weight off my knees, and hey, lo and behold, it'll fix itself. So I did that. I got a pair of crutches, which they didn't like because my mum basically came to my house and she was on crutches anyway, and she had like 3, so she left me a pair. So I started using them. And then, hey and behold, it affected my wrists. It wasn't meant to. It was meant to fix the problem, according to the doctors. But that's how they basically realised mine was fibromyalgia. Even if it doesn't affect your wrist, you can just have fibromyalgia in your knees. I'll speak to you over DMs anyway about it, because to be honest, it is one of those, if you knew like how bad it is, I think you'd be coming to the same conclusion as I have, and I really do believe you've got fibro. But that's going to be today's stream for now, just because I am getting a bit tired and I don't want to go on for too long. I'm going to get some food down me because I'm getting a bit hungry and unfortunately getting a bit of a headache. Oh, no issue. Like I said, I'll probably add you on Facebook anyway. And whilst I'm chilling, I'll just chat to you anyway in DMs. That's not as much of an issue. It's on my phone and I'll be on the sofa. So I'll just chill and watch some YouTube whilst doing it. If you haven't already, go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button if you have YouTube. If you don't, that's okay. I appreciate you anyway. Thank you for hanging out with me and enjoying the stream, hopefully. And we will be back at it most likely tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. We'll probably do Tranquil Island. Just to get some more visitors moved in. Villagers even moved in. Hopefully Franklin moves in. And we'll have the charging station tomorrow, which means we can initially use the jackhammer. So, that is going to be the stream for today. Pardon me. I appreciate everyone who has spent the time to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.